Good morning, boys and girls. I am here with a famous artist named Julie Taymor. Julie is going to tell you a little bit about herself and her puppet-infused work in theater, opera, and film. Before we talk about your most famous pieces, why don't you give us a brief explanation about when and where your art life began?
Okay, yes. Well, it all started in Newtown, Massachusetts, my hometown. At the age of 10, I had a serious interest in theater. When I was a young girl, my sister and I would put on shows for my family and friends in my backyard. I then joined the Boston Children's Theater, and this is where I took the part of Hermia in Shakespeare, A Midsummer's Night Dream. At the age of 16, I finished high school early and traveled to Paris to attend Jacques Lecoy's mime school. After 1 year in Paris, I returned home to the U.S. and attended Oberlin College. Oberlin College allowed me to leave the U.S. for 1 year and travel to study theater. I first went to Eastern Europe, then Japan, and finally Indonesia. I had planned to stay in Indonesia for 3 months. However, I ended up staying there for 4 years. Indonesia taught me a lot about art and theater.
Very nice. It seems like you traveled a lot to get where you are today.
Yes, my life was very different from most children's. However, I feel that if I did not travel to a different country, I would not be where I am today.
Okay, the next question I have is, what do you do with all the information you were taught about arts and theater?
I am an American director, mask maker, designer, and puppeteer. I create bold visual theater, and I have earned international honors for my puppet-infused work in theater, opera, and film.
Tell us about your first project, Juan Darien, A Carnival Mass.
In 1992, I was in charge of creating a film for public TV based on Edgar Allan Poe's story, Hop Frog. I collaborated with designer Michael Curry to create large-scale puppets. This film premiered at the American Film Festival in Park City and aired on PBS in March of 1992. This film was awarded Best Drama Award at the Tokyo International Electronic Cinema Festival.
In 1997, you directed a hit Broadway musical, The Lion King. Tell us how you went about creating this movie into a play.
When I first got a call from Disney, I was surprised. I was not expecting Disney to call me and ask me to be the director of one of their movies. After I watched the movie The Lion King, I first had to change the aesthetic. Disney's aesthetic and my aesthetic were not the same. I wanted this play to have real discipline. I designed more than 100 traditional African costumes for the actors and animal masks that went on top of their heads. I wanted the audience to be able to see both the animal and the human simultaneously. We put the whole thing together in 5 or 6 weeks of rehearsals and 3 weeks tech. The Lion King debuted first in Minneapolis in 1997. 2 seconds into the play, the audience were standing up and screaming. This felt really good to see how all this work really paid off. It received 11 Tony Award nominations, and I received 2 awards for Best Director and Costume Designer. The Lion King was the most successful stage musical of all time, with 24 global productions have been seen by more than 90 million people.
What were some other films you directed?
In 1999, I directed the film called Titus. Titus draws on numerous cultural and iconographic references, which creates a complex network of meanings in which past and present reflect on each other. In 2002, I directed the film Frida. Frida is a biographical drama film which depicts the professional and private life of Mexican artist Frida Kahlo. In 2007, I created a film called Across the Universe. This film is a Vietnam War-era love story to set a soundtrack of the Beatles. Lastly, this year, I created the film The Glorias, which is a biopic about feminist icon Gloria Steinem.
Since we talked about the plays and films you directed, now let's talk about some operas you directed.
In 1992, my production of Igor Stravinsky's Operex Rex in Japan earned the Emmy Award. I also directed the 1993 production of The Magic Flute by Wolfgang Mozart in Florence. In 1994, I produced the Salome in St. Petersburg, Russia, with conductor Valia Gergiev.
Wow, you were a busy, hardworking artist of the 1990s to 2000s.
Yes, it was very busy and tiring. However, I enjoyed every minute of it.
Thank you so much for your time and effort.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. This picture is taken from the play The Lion King. As you can see, you are able to see both the guy's face and the mask he's wearing on top of his head. This picture was taken from the movie Frida, which was also directed by Julie Taymor. This picture comes from the movie Titus, which is based in Roman times by Julie Taymor. This picture comes from another movie Julie Taymor directed called Across the Universe. Lastly, here are some pictures of the operas that Julie Taymor directed.